right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's version of the Heat Lifers podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my tall white buddy Kevin Carter. What's up, Kevin?
At least he called me tall.
Yeah,
At
yeah,
least,
yeah.
at least he didn't use the other one that everybody. It's tall and slender. Yeah, at least he didn't use the slender part.
Now it's been a couple of weeks since we podcast, Kevin. My bad. I was having internet issues down over here. But what's been going on with you, boss?
No, nothing. Just same old stuff. Work, work, wrestling, work, um, draft, work,
Mm,
all that stuff.
got you.
We're preparing.
So
We're preparing. It's a big week here in Jacksonville. We're preparing.
when is that NFL draft?
Thursday.
Is this Thursday? Okay. Okay.
Thursday's round one, Friday's round two, and then Saturday I think is rounds 3 through 7.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, good luck
So
to you guys.
the savior will be here Thursday.
Look, how many of you y'all done had?
But we haven't had any.
Oh,
None of these guys, none of the guys we drafted, I've ever viewed as a tier one level. This dude's going to be the shit. Uh, QB or anywhere else. We drafted some good wide receivers. They just turned into idiots.
mm,
But but never have we drafted a guy that you looked at him and go, okay, this is the guy everybody calls the generational talent that is going to be great. We've never had that guy because we never had the number one pick. So now when you have everybody, all the pundits going, this guy's the next John Elway, Peyton, Andrew Luck, and all that stuff. You're like, oh, okay, we might have something here. So this is the
mm.
first time we're really all hyped and excited because we actually got the number one pick in the draft. So
Got it.
it'd be pretty cool. It'll be pretty cool Thursday. I get to go down to the stadium, go to the draft party. So
Oh, nice. That's going to be awesome. That's an awesome experience.
yeah. So Nicole goes, am I going? And I was like, I don't know. I'm going. You can go if you want to. I have 2 tickets. So I'm like, I don't know if you're going or not.
Right.
I was like, I invited you like 4 times, and yeah, I don't know, you're my wife, so like I'm not going to tell you no, you can't go.
Look, speaking of off the court activities, looks like your boy, your nephew down in Miami is catching some heat from the organization the last couple of weeks. How do you feel about what?
He's different. Like
Mm,
he's something that Miami's not used to really having. Like when's the last time Miami's got a dude that well, a little white guy who's good looking, who's one of those guys that he's young, so he really don't care, and he just goes out and does all that stuff. Miami hasn't had one of those in like forever.
no, I would
Uh,
probably say never. Yeah.
yeah, so now they're going, oh crap, we got to deal with this dude and him doing all his stuff. I don't care. I've said this many times. I don't care what you do off the court, as long as one, you're not getting in any trouble,
Hmm.
and two, when you come to the court and you play ball, you play ball. That's all I care about. My stuff with people doing stuff off the court. It don't bother me none unless you're being an idiot off the court. Then that bothers me. But if you're doing stuff that I don't even know about, I don't care.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten
But
any
we all
trouble
know
off
how,
the court.
but we all know how they are down there. They care. They care about everything you do off the court.
Right. Well, I thought it was crazy because when I first heard the story, I didn't believe it at first because the Heat really doesn't release like stuff like that. And then I saw that our Renderman, our number one beat writer, was the one who let it slip, and I'm like, oh, so it might be something there. Um,
Yeah, because Ira don't let things that usually aren't true
right,
come slipping out.
right, yeah,
I like following him just because we need to get him on one day. Uh, I just like following him. I just like following him just because one, he's a fun read.
Mhm.
It's fun reading most of the stuff because he's one of those guys that if somebody says something stupid, he legit will call you out and say, "Well, that was stupid."
Right,
So
right.
I just like his stuff. But yeah, if he posts something, it's usually dead on about what's going on inside the organization.
Yeah, it was like I said, it caught me off guard. The funny story about Ira is when I was starting Hardwood and reaching out to everybody, he was one of the guys I reached out with, and he was one of the few guys that actually responded to me. So I was like, that was pretty neat. But I talked to a couple of Heat writers in the early days of Hardwood. Just trying to get advice and things like that. But yeah, Ira was pretty cool. Um, but I mean,
Well, we need to reach back out to him. Hint, 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 wink, wink.
I think we followed each other on Twitter. I'll see if he's still following me. I might be able to DM him. I'll check into that. Um, but you know, I've seen Tyler travel in some circles. His girlfriend, I believe, is pregnant, so they're trying to see if it's his or not. So yeah, you know, it's a couple of things out there about him. His play has been inconsistent this year, but he's been in and out of the lineup too with the injuries. You know, he didn't play last night because of foot injury. Um, so, I,
What's
and
going on with that? Is that like that plantar fasciitis stuff, or they haven't really said what it is? They
what it
just said,
is,
"Oh,
right?
it's, yeah."
Right. You know how the Heat roll. You already know, so we don't know what it
What's wrong
is.
with him? His foot hurts.
Right. That's just how they do stuff. So we don't know, but I think it is. It could be that because it has been a nagging injury for the duration of the season so far. And then, like Bryce mentioned earlier, there's that sophomore curse too, that sophomore
Yeah,
slump that people are game planning for him as well, which could lead to his inconsistent play. So it's a lot of factors involved in that. But there's no question about it. He is one of our most popular players. You know, me and you talked about it in Orlando all with all the Tyler Hero jerseys we saw up there. So what whatever it is, I hope he can get it together and have a strong playoff run like he did last year. Because God knows we're going to need him more so this year.
yep, yeah. He struggled through some of the season last year too. He had his games where he was on, had his games where he's off, just like everybody in the NBA. But they seem a lot more off than on this season.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
if he gets it going there in the playoffs, that's when we're going to need him. We're going to need all these guys during the playoffs. That's why I said um, if Oladipo they want to rest him until I know what there's 12 games left or 11 after last night.
yeah. 11
If
now. Yeah.
if they want to rest him until 4 or 5 games, if he's able to come back and play, just to get his wind up and just get him ready for the playoffs, I'm all for it. Don't rush nobody back. Uh, just just stay in that level where you don't have to have them playing games and just get up a little bit in front of some people, and then you don't have to worry about it. But that gives you more
Yeah.
time to rest these guys and get them ready for a playoff run.
That's why that loss there tonight to Atlanta just upset me so much because it's like we could have took the fifth seed with that win. Would jump from seventh to fifth, and I'm just like, what the fuck are y'all doing? Like, I was so pissed watching that game, dude. Like I said, I cut it off. I'm like, if you guys don't care about winning, I'm not gonna care about watching you at this point. I'm not with the foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Like, we expect more as Heat fans. We expect more from that franchise, and that shit they did. What Friday night against Atlanta without Trey Young, without Clint Capella? Are you kidding me? Um, dude, I was
It's
fucking
it seems like when teams are without people, that's when the Heat like let these guys hang around, and then let them beat them.
right, right.
Like you're like, dude, you're like these guys have literally no one playing, and I understand you have injury issues too, and some of your guys aren't playing. But dang, man, if it's what I said, if Bam is the superstar that everybody thinks he is, if they're going up, which I do, I think he's a star, but
Mm-hmm.
if you're going up against a team that's missing these guys, go out and dominate it and win the ball game
Right, right.
because you legit. I watched you. There's times where nobody can stop him, and then there's times where he fades, and I'm like, dude, stop fading because they're going to need you more than ever. So it just come out and be Bam. Don't come out and be Bam light.
It's hit or miss. And something I meant to bring up the last time we did a podcast was his rebounding. Now he will still grab 9 rebounds a game, but the rebounds that he grabs, they don't seem so impactful to me. They're not a lot of offensive rebounds. Now look
It's
at
not what
Dwayne.
he did last year. It's not what he did in the bubble last year.
Mhm.
Like in the bubble last year, he was coming up with everything was timely. He'd come up with a
Right.
timely rebound, offense or defense. He'd come up with a timely block and everything like that. But this year, it seems a little different. The where he'll come up with it, but it's not. They're few and far between as they were last year.
hmm Now look at Dwayne Dedman's rebounding since he's been in Miami. Dude, he's snatching rebounds out there like a man, and I'm like, wow, that's what we need Bam to do. Have you seen him?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I watched the game, the Brooklyn game
Oh
the
yeah,
other night,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm like the damn Deadman. I'm like, I'm like, holy shit! Why the And here's my biggest gigantic complaint with the Miami Heat is Eric Spoelstra, please do something about your rotations. That way you don't have garbage, all-star garbage out there at the same time when you know you need to score some dang points. If you
Yeah,
have if you have a 20-point lead, you know what you do? You go out there, you put your guys in there to make sure the 20-point lead goes up to 30 or 25 and you go for their throat. Then you can put in whoever you want
yeah,
after that. You don't let them chip away with leaving the same guys out there for an extended 8, 9 minute period of time.
yeah,
That
yeah.
is the one big, gigantic thing that gets on my nerves about him. I get it. You have a certain rotation you want to do, but damn it, man. Just go for the kill first. Then you can do whatever you want to. I don't care
Right,
after that.
right,
But
right.
go for the jugular first, then do all your weird little stuff that you want to do. I know you
Yeah,
want to get guys playing time, but look, when you come to the playoffs, you get a 7 man rotation. You trust your five, you kind of trust the sixth guy, and you might a little bit trust the seventh guy. Eight
hmm
through 12, nobody gives a crap about during the playoffs unless you get into foul trouble. So right now, find those 8 guys that you want and start getting them prepared for the playoff run.
that's it.
But that needs to be one of those 8 guys.
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
Deadman has provided a lot of rebounding, a lot of good defense too, and he's
hmm
been timely and he's gotten to the free throw line a bunch.
Got to the free throw line. He's scoring off that pick and roll, dude. I'm just like, what the hell? This
I'm like,
isn't.
where did he come? I'm like, I don't remember Deadman being that good.
Well, when he was with the Magic, he wasn't. Okay, then he left the Magic. I believe he went to the Spurs
No,
for a while.
look, we already know this. Nobody is really that good when they're coming off the bench for the Orlando Magic.
I know, I know it.
So you can't really tell anything based on what happens to anybody in Orlando.
hmm
I've always told people that. Don't base off what you saw people do in Orlando. Because once they go somewhere else, they either completely blow up or they do what some people do and they shrink because they get on a different team to where they're not having to be that first option anymore. Then they shrink back a little bit.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
Wallace
oh yeah, definitely. Who should be in the
and
Hall of Fame, by the way.
Chauncey Billups.
People forget
Uh,
Chauncey Billups played with Orlando.
exactly. I didn't because you
hmm
stupid idiots traded him.
Yeah, people forget about that. Did Orlando draft him? I think did they draft Chauncey?
Mhm. I don't think I don't think they drafted Chauncey. I
I'm
think
trying
he
to
was
remember how
drafted.
he got there.
I think he was drafted by somebody else. I think he was drafted by somebody else, and then
hmm
they
Must have
I
traded
think
him there.
they traded him to Orlando here. I can
Okay.
tell you, he went to the Clippers. Oh no, that
Mm.
was just his numbers that he wore. Let's see.
I gotta look that up because I can't remember how he got there.
Let's see. He was selected by the Boston Celtics.
Mm,
Yeah, he was selected by the Celtics. Man, his NBA career in Orlando was so short they don't even have him as an Orlando player.
really?
Oh, there it is. In 2000, he was on the injured list. So
Okay.
They had him in Orlando, but he never played a game. He was
Wow, I
traded
thought
to
he
the Orlando
did.
Magic. He was traded to the Orlando Magic for along with Ron Mercer and Johnny Taylor for exchange from Chris Gatling
Jesus
and Tariq
Christ.
Abdul-Wahud and a future first round pick. So he was traded
Wow.
from the Denver Nuggets
Got
to
it.
the
Okay.
Orlando.
Denver.
And then he
Okay.
didn't. The reason no one knows he played for Orlando is because he didn't play.
I thought you played. I thought you played a game.
No, he was injured. He was injured the whole season, and they traded him away.
Wow. Because I remember them being there. All right.
Mhm.
So,
Yep, they
your
traded
boy.
him away to what? Minute they traded him to Minnesota, and then they traded him to the Pistons, and then in the Pistons he went nuts.
Yeah. So your boy, old number 6 for Miami, been all in the news this week.
First off, first off, first off, even referencing that guy as my boy almost has me hanging up the phone on you.
It's a trigger.
Yes, we know that dude is not my boy,
Well, he's definitely not my boy. So,
nor shall he ever be my boy.
how do you feel about LeBron James's initial tweet where he
Where
had a
he what?
picture?
Put the picture of a dude. Put a picture of the policeman that shot the girl who was trying to stab another girl.
Correct.
And then put what did he put on it? You're next. What
He
is he,
put
Goldberg?
yeah, he put your next. Yep.
What is LeBron James Goldberg now all of a sudden? I'm like, dude, man, I'm like, oh, I get where you're coming from, but dude, you have to realize what position you are in. Putting a picture of a dude out there and saying you're next, I'm like, he's next for what?
Right. Right.
I'm like, you're not really saying what he's next for. Are you saying that he's next to go to trial, next to be held accountable, next to go make Slurpees, next to get fired? What is he next for, dude? I'm like, man, you're in this prominent role. You're a figurehead in the African American community. People look up to you. Kids look up to you. Adults look up to you, and you're posting things like this instead of instead of not celebrating the ruling that happened,
Right.
but
Right.
explaining yourself for the ruling that happened, saying this is just one step in the process of us being able to get accountability for these things happening, but not even knowing the whole story of what happened in Cleveland and everything like that. You just posting out a picture of this guy and saying you're next. That's stupid.
It
It
was
was
stupid.
it was literally one of these stupidest things that he could have done.
It was stupid. It was ignorant. It was hastily done, and there should have been an apology. I know he did this.
He followed it up with I posted that because I want accountability of things that are happening. Dude, do you even know the whole story about what happened there?
Right. Right.
I was like, would you have been happy if the one girl stabbed the other girl, that girl died, and then he shot the one after he stabbed her, and then two people dead?
Hmm.
Or it's the bad part is it's a lose lose proposition on all ends for all parties involved.
Yeah.
It's lose lose for the officer involved. It's lose lose for people that make these kind of comments that are involved. It's lose lose for the people that were everybody that was just involved in it. And I'm like, dude, man, come on, do your research, look at the stuff first, then make an educated guess or educated decision on what you want to say then, because
Right.
you are viewed by some people as the end all be all. So choose your words wisely, because
Hmm.
your words always will come back to bite you in the ass, especially if you put them on Twitter and somebody screenshots the shit.
Which they did. Yeah.
Oh,
It
everybody did.
it was a rush to judgment on his part because I mean the video was released the same day. It was released hours later, But
Yeah.
people are so quick to be right or so quick to be the first one when you don't know all the facts. And when I saw the video, I was like, the cop had no choice. This girl had the other girl hemmed up on a car, about to swing a blow with a knife in her hand. It's like he had no choice. He had to take her down.
And then and then people go, well, why didn't he tase her? Well,
He was too far away.
a taser is, if he's too far away, he can't use a taser. Well,
Right.
why didn't he shoot her in the shoulder or in the leg or in anything else? And I'm like, well, if you shoot somebody in the leg has the most arteries and everything in it. And if you shoot somebody in there, there's more of a chance that they die if you shoot them in the shoulder or the chest area,
Mm,
depending on where you shoot them in the chest area. I said, so that's a no go. I said, plus, if he tries to shoot her in a certain area, guess what he's going to do? He's going to hit the other person as well.
right. Right.
If he was maliciously out there to kill someone and he was a racist piece of shit, guess what he would have done? He would have shot the person to where it would have went and hit the other person as well.
Mm,
So we can't, people rush to judgment and are so quick to do everything that they don't put themselves into situations that people are put into. Like, mind you, the dude that kneeled on the dude's neck.
mm,
That's that. Do I think he went in it with the intention of, look here, we're going to go to this call. It's going to be some idiot, and I'm going to kill him just because I don't like black people. Well, we don't know. But at that point of time when he started doing what he was doing, that's what it looks like. This didn't look like a part to where the guy goes, you know what? I'm just going to shoot him just because.
right.
And
Right.
I'm like, put yourself in somebody's position of authority, of anything like that, and ask yourself what you would have done in that situation. Knowing that your taser can't reach, knowing that if you don't do something and you don't make an action, somebody's going to die. Somebody's going to get stabbed, and you don't know what's going to happen after that. You don't
Right.
know if the person's going to turn around and stab you. Do you want to stop the stuff right then? Or do you want it to continue happening? Because if you would have let it continue happening, guess what we would have been hearing right now? Well, you
Hmm.
let that lady die, and then you shot the lady after she already stabbed the other one. So it was a lose-lose proposition. But he had no business. He had no business putting what he did out there. If you want to put the accountability tweet and everything out there, go right ahead. But don't do that.
Yeah.
Just don't do that. It makes you seem like you're. It makes it seem like he's bloodthirsty.
Right.
Like, it makes it seem like, dude, I want all cops that do this. I want them to be hung. It makes you seem like that because the way you sit it out there, you put
Hmm.
your next. I'm like, that's a very vague. Your next is a very vague term.
Yeah. I was appalled when I saw it, and you know, he in a sense he could have kind of put that guy in danger too by releasing his picture. I don't believe he had his name, but he at least had his picture where someone could identify him. That's dangerous to do, especially when you don't know the full story.
And especially when you have the platform that you have, some
Hmm.
idiot person will take you seriously. Some idiot person will go, well, LeBron said he's next. Let's go find him.
Right.
No, that
Right.
no. I'm like, oh my god, dude. I was like, come on, man. I was like, think before you do things.
Hmm. No, I definitely agree with you on all points of that. It's unfortunate. His quote unquote apology was unfortunate. And I think actually he should sit down with that guy, sit down with that cop, and kind of explain himself.
Yep.
I know he'll never do it, but I think he should be made to do that, um, just so he
He'll
can
never,
kind of
never do it. He'll never do it because it's admitting he was wrong.
right.
And that's why he'll never do it. He'll never do it when it's convenient to learn that you're wrong and go and put yourself in somebody's shoes. People don't do anything until it's too late.
Hmm.
Like, you put it, like, literally putting a picture of this guy out there, put him in danger and his family in danger.
Oh, yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
Like, it, it's just, it was one bad thing after another.
it's been a rough 2020 led into 2021. It's been rough. We've had a lot of incidents out there, and like you said, it looks like he was looking for blood, and there's a lot of people looking for blood. So when you have someone of his status that seems like they're looking for blood, that rouse up the masses, that may be like, oh yeah, yeah, let's get him, like you said. um so it was just bad. It was bad press on all sides. It was a bad move by him, and he needs to be held accountable. I don't think the NBA can fine or suspend him, but at least someone needs to call him and be like, "Look, you might want to do it a different way going forward until you know all the facts."
Yeah, these past couple of years has just been it's been bad on all fronts, and the bad part is with all the pandemic and with all the other stuff going on and everything, it's made everybody on edge. So everybody, I'm going to use the term, but everybody has become ultra sensitive on certain subjects. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not saying that not saying that it's wrong for you to be ultra sensitive on these subjects, but it's like if somebody it's like if a policeman put somebody in a car and they broke their fingernail, then everybody would go nuts that the guy broke a fingernail. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's the
right, right.
sensitivity of the matters has become has become amplified by everything that we've been going on with throughout these 2 years, throughout last year and throughout this year so far. And it's bad. And I lived through the Rodney King stuff, which that was terrible upon its own right.
Mhm.
But it seems to be everything is amplified tenfold now because because of all these platforms that everybody has to come and voice their opinions on. And
Right, right.
it's just crazy. These platforms have gave everybody a voice. And people that their voice was never heard before, they're thinking, well, I can go out here now and I can put my voice out there. So the voices have become, it's not that now your voice can actually be heard. So now there's many more people that are looking at these subjects instead of just these small few like there were before.
Mm. You're right. You hit the nail on the head. Real quick before we wrap up, again, I was going to. Oh, I can't talk today. Again, I was going to mention this last week. Jimmy Butler calling out the team, calling the team soft. The Heat responded right away with that big win over Brooklyn, won the three next games up until they lost against Atlanta. So they've won uh, 4 out of 5 games.
Yeah.
How did you feel? How did you feel about initially hearing that Butler called the team out, and then their response the next game? How did you feel about that?
Well, when you get beat by the Milwaukee Timberwolves and the way you got beat by the Milwaukee Timberwolves, he had every right to call every single one of you freaking soft,
Right,
including himself. He
right.
included himself in. He said we're playing soft. The thing with Jimmy is he holds everybody accountable, including his own self. So I was down for it. I'm like, good. I was like, when's the last time you had a star calling himself soft, calling out
Hmm.
the team, and then making sure that that team was going to respond? That's the one thing. If Jimmy says something, guess what he's going to do? He's going to make sure that they go out and they practice harder, and he's going to come out and play harder. That's the one thing you can rely on with Jimmy is that he's going to do that.
Right.
Like you could have other guys say this kind of stuff, but then they come out and they still play the same way that they play. This guy, I know that if he says it, they're going to come out and they're going to play hard. So I was all for it. I like guys like Jimmy calling out people. Like it would have been different if James Harden would have came out and said they're playing soft when he's not even playing.
Hmm.
Yeah, a guy like James Harden come out and telling a team that they're playing soft is like, yeah, that's like me telling them they're playing soft because you're not even playing, and two, you're the softest tissue paper of them all. So how are you able to go out and tell somebody you're soft? For as great you are, you're a soft basketball player.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
He,
was I was totally okay with it. I'm like I wish people would do it more often.
I was okay with it, but then I was terrified the next game when I saw that Jimmy wasn't playing. I was like, "Oh shit, here we go!" Right? Because anytime that happens, anytime a teammate calls a team soft, you need to come out and win the next game. Period. And playing Brooklyn. I'm like, "Oh shit, Jimmy's not going to be there." But Bam stepped up and he hit that game winning shot, and it was beautiful. Even though Jimmy
What,
told him stop shooting all these damn jumpers, I
what
get
a
it.
pretty stop. Well, that at that point in the game, I'm fine with him taking the jumper. There's some points in games where I'm like, damn, you don't need to take that. That should be
Right,
your last resort. It literally should be his last resort. Even
right.
though he's making it way more frequent this year than he has ever. But that's your last resort bailout shot.
Hmm.
But him taking it in the position that he was in with who was guarding me and him knowing the situation, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm glad he didn't pass it. I'm glad he did
Yeah.
exactly what he did. And then
Oh,
Cortez
man.
going, oh, Bam went into the post. I was like, no, Bam didn't go into the post. Bam took the dude from the 3-point line to the baseline and shot a jumper.
Right, right, right.
Like, I was like, you couldn't bring the double team because he wasn't going to let you bring the double team.
Hmm. Hmm.
He got the perfect matchup that he know he wanted to get, and he went to his spot and he shot it.
The incredible thing about it, and I can't believe who the other player was. Look, that wasn't the play because there's another player that was coming to set a pick, and Bam waved him off, and then
Oh,
just took.
Robinson was what it was Robinson was coming to set a pick because Robinson was going to roll off the pick and then he was going to be open.
Got it.
And Bam waved him off. I was like, nah, bro, I got this.
Right.
And
Now that's what I
that
like.
that's the kind of stuff I want to see from Bam, being like, nah,
Yeah.
dude, my turn. I was
Right.
like,
Right.
this is my shot. I got
Yep.
this. And knowing who he had on him and the situation that they were in, it was a perfect shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did like that he waved off. Like I said, I couldn't remember who it was, but I did like that he waved off the pick, and he was like, I'm going to win this." So that worked out. And then, like I said, that game was a part of a 3-game winning streak. So I'm like, okay, maybe they've turned the corner. And then we have that bullshit that happened the other night in Atlanta. I'm just like, oh, Lord Jesus, like just dude, they're draft crazy this year. They 1 week we're
They're,
losing.
they're, they're a roller coaster. They
Yeah.
are they're a roller coaster team this season.
Hmm.
And the bad part is with all the injuries that they've had, oh, phew, they always come in twos. Uh, with the, with the with all the injuries and stuff they had and everything, I realize why they're a roller coaster team just because they haven't all been able to get in sync. But yeah, just get to the playoffs. Good Lord, just get to the playoffs and not have to play in the playing games.
That playing game is scaring me, man. Right now, we're looking at Charlotte in the first playoff game. I know Lamelo's coming back in about a week or two, so I'm just like, oh goodness, because Charlotte's had our number this year. The Monk kid can't miss when he plays against us. Um,
He
I
turns
can't,
he turns into Terrence Ross.
dude. I can't deal with Charlotte right now. Chicago scared me last night because when Vucevic got rolling, I was like, oh, here we go.
We're used to seeing that crap.
I was like, here we go. We know all about Boots.
Yeah,
And
we're used to certain players killing us for some odd reason.
yeah, we
I'd rather play friggin' Brooklyn right off the jump play some of these other teams.
well, we're looking at Philly right now. If we stay number 7, we're looking at Philly. So it's just like, oh boy. I mean, we played Philly tough in years past, but that's who we looking
Play,
at. So
we played them tough this year.
mm,
Uh, the thing is, everybody always Embiid don't scare me at all whatsoever. Uh, if you want to let Embiid get his, rest of the team they're streaky, and
right.
if some of them are able to get theirs, then they're good. But if they're not able to get theirs, I'll let Embiid score 40 if the rest of them can't do anything.
Hmm. Hmm.
But all
You're
this
right.
Embiid stuff, I'm like, I see it in him, but I don't see it in him. You know what I mean?
Well, you know who I want. I don't think we'll be lucky enough to move up to the 6th position, but you already know I want Milwaukee. Like,
Oh, everybody. The thing is, everyone wants Milwaukee because Milwaukee, even though they have all that talent, they still don't scare anybody.
right.
They don't put fear in none of you. Like I said, drop me to 8. Let us play Brooklyn. Let us get it over with. Just play the good team right off the bat, because guess what they do? They
They
play
do.
up to the level they're playing against.
They do. That they do.
So
That,
just give me Brooklyn, especially when we don't know if Harden's boo-boo is going to get any better or not.
mm-hmm.
And if you don't know if Kevin Garnett's slender leg is going to hold up or not, just give me those guys, because I ain't scared of Blake Griffin and Kyrie if they don't have those other two. So just slide down, give us them to start it off, and then let's go.
Well, if they slide down,
I'm probably the only Heat fan calling for that. Like, let's just play them first. I'm
look,
scared.
I want Milwaukee. I want Milwaukee first. So if we get to that sixth spot, and maybe that's what the Heat are doing. They're like, you know what? We just want the sixth spot so we can take on the Bucks. That could be what they're doing. I don't know because they're
Everybody,
inconsistent.
everybody, everybody wants Milwaukee because they think Milwaukee is this soft feathered team, and
Yeah.
that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants Milwaukee because they think their guys fold. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and the funny part is everybody go, oh yeah, y'all beat Milwaukee without Giannis. I was like, with Giannis, they beat them by 20. What is your
Mm-hmm.
point?
Mm-hmm.
What exactly is your point? I was more scared when we played them without Giannis than with Giannis.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Without Giannis, what was going to go through Middleton? I'm more scared of Middleton scoring all them damn points and making them mid-range jumpers than I am Giannis.
Yeah.
Because Giannis is going to try to drive to the hole. And then the good part about Giannis driving to the hole is you can hack the crap out of him, and he
Mm-hmm.
has to go shoot free throw.
Mm-hmm.
He can't shoot.
Nope. Not at
He
all.
still throws more air balls per capita than anybody from the 3 point or from the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, whatever. Just get to the damn playoffs. The
Well,
good
that's what
part is your competition in the playoffs, then everybody's good. So there you go.
right. Well, Jimmy said all they got to do is get there, and he'll take care of the rest. So I hope he does.
Yeah, I like Jimmy so much. Jimmy's freaking Jimmy's ridiculous. And the
Yeah.
funny part is all the guys that always wanted to go to Miami are now getting to Miami
Mm-hmm.
via some way, somehow.
Yeah.
So I'm like, does anybody else want to come? Like anybody?
We'll see
We
what
got room.
changes we make in off season.
Yeah, we got
Oh,
room.
yeah, we got one more spot. They're looking at that Wagner guy who was playing with Boston. They're looking at him. I don't know who they're going to pick for that spot, but we'll just have
The
to
big
wait and see.
the big change they got to do is get Oladipo a new knee, and just you get him a whole new leg, and
Yeah,
then let him play next year. He'll be good to go. Because when
yeah.
he plays, he's so good, and I'm
Mhm.
like, just get him healthy and let's go. I'm like, but poor guy. Seems like he's just injury prone.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, that's going to be it for this week's episode of the Heat Lifers podcast. Thank you so much, Kevin.
No,
Please
you're welcome.
follow. Please follow us on Twitter. Follow the Hardwood Nation on YouTube and also the hardwoodnation.net. Thank you, everyone.
Now, how's everybody supposed to follow us on